Thank you,
Thank
Zenya. Um, Hi, everyone. I'm Heidi, and I have the privilege of knowing both of these ladies from different areas of the furniture artist industry. So, part time, I help out at the Furniture Repair Bank here in Seattle, Washington, that she just told you about. And if you registered for this website, I'm sure you are aware of the work that we do. And I know Judy, because Judy really, I have to sing her praises here for a second. So, when I first started out many years ago, with furniture painting and flipping and all of those good things. I did not know what I was doing in terms of staging and photographing my furniture. And I found Judy, and she really helped me get my A game on. She helped me with gosh, I everything from camera equipment and lighting to background and how you stage things. And she's got a great group, which I'm sure she will tell you about, that really helps fine tune everything and really help me move my own business from selling on marketplace for the least amount and getting nickel dime to selling on Etsy for thousands of dollars. So I absolutely had to have her here. She is a wealth of information, has been doing this for years and years. And I cannot sing her praises enough. So you guys are really lucky to have her here today. And I will let her just share a little bit about her business and her journey. And then she'll just go ahead and launch into her presentation. So Judy, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Um, so, um, so my name's Judy Whalen, and I was originally a home stager. I started in 2001 before there was HGTV, before there was anything. We didn't really have the interweb back then, and that was the Wild West. And anyway, and then I got into working, managing two really busy home decor and paint stores for an Annie Sloan stockist in Houston, and started painting furniture. And I've always specialized in merchandising at Macy's and Bloomingdale's. I've done displays and a lot of visual stuff. And so it was kind of a natural fit. And so I started working with a very large group, doing coaching, staging, and then I opened my own business about 5.5 years ago. And it's an online group. It's not super expensive. It's $19.95 a month, which is pretty much of a bargain considering that you'll make that back times 10 on just the first piece that you sell, because you'll sell higher and faster, and you won't just be stuck sitting around waiting with a bunch of furniture cluttering up your house. So because people shop with their eyes, so you know it, I know it, your first impression is everything. So if you just take a really sloppy photo of your furniture sitting on blocks in the garage, and it's crooked and the lighting is poor and you can't see part of it because it's cut off, it's not going to translate into the dollars that you are looking for. You want to, this business is hard enough, as far as it's a lot of physical hard work, sanding and painting and cleaning and prepping and all the things that you have to do. And I would liken it to, staging is the last part. But it's like, if you don't stage it and take beautiful photographs, then you've literally sat down 5 yards before the finish line of a marathon. Don't do that. Don't short yourself, because the photos are where the money is really made. You can have a beautiful piece that's finished in the professional fashion, but if it looks like amateur hour from a photographic standpoint, you're just not going to get the money. And I've seen people who don't have great work get great money because they have great photos. So do yourself a favor and just put the effort in the final push, and you'll be really glad that you did. So that's what my group is about. We run on Facebook, and we're open We're open 5 days a week, and I coach you personally one-on-one. You don't have to do it in front of anybody. So you're getting a lot of information, and pretty much every time you post, you're going to learn something new, just because there are so many aspects to you have to stage it, you have to have good lighting, you have to take a great photograph, you have to do some proper editing. There's so many steps. Don't be discouraged because you're not going to know them all out of the gate. That's just something that you have to, these are skill. It's the same thing as refinishing furniture. You begin at the beginning and you have to build your skill set as you go. Sometimes you build it by making mistakes. We've all made famous mistakes, and but I'm here to help you to put your best foot forward, and then once you really and a lot of people dread staging at the beginning, and then once they kind of get the hang of it, they realize, hey, this is really fun, and they look forward to whatever day it is of the week that they decide that they're going to stage. And I will, whether you know it or not, hold your hand and help you develop a signature look, so that even without a watermark, I work with some of the top names in the world in the furniture business, and you don't have to look for their logo. You just know who it is because that's their signature style. So I'm always working behind the scenes to help you to do that. And we do stuff a lot of people think you have to have a lot of things to stage. You don't. You need a couple of books. Neutral colors are best. You can use them as risers. You can use them as staging materials. If you have a pot of greenery, if you have some things that are maybe metals, gold or silver, it's super easy in editing to turn silver to gold and gold to silver. So once you learn some tricks, and we incorporate all kinds of different things. Like when we do drinks cabinets, we use lemons, we use limes, you can save old bottles of champagne or old liquor bottles. You can fill them with Coke instead of liquor just to get the right color. So there's lots and lots of things that you can do. Cheap glassware, you can spray paint it gold. It looks beautiful and really high end. Costs next to nothing from the dollar store. So anyway, is there anything, Heidi, what should I do now? Just keep going, or? Okay. I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. So the very first thing is, the most important thing that you can do is you can take great pictures with your phone. There's no need to go to get a high-end camera. It's all that's an expense that you don't need to go to. Most people have great camera phones. So just use your phone. The biggest thing that I can tell you, so here's a huge tip, is always when you're taking pictures of a still piece of furniture, you always want to turn off HDR on your camera. Turn it off, because what that's doing is taking several pictures all at the same time and merging them into one. But if you have a little shake in your hand or you make a move, you will not get the quality. So you just want that one single shot. So you turn off HDR. If you have an iPhone, you're going to turn off live, because again, that's the same thing. It's going to merge a bunch of different shots. You're not going to get the same quality. So HDR goes off, live goes off. So those are two super important things. The other thing,
do you know where HDR is located on phones? I know it's going to be different based on.
So I work with iPhones, and I love iPhones because they're universally the same. So you can so when you tap your phone to take a photo, HDR and live are usually also on the top. So you want the line to go through the live, which looks like a bullseye, and HDR will say HDR. Exactly. So that's the live, and then that's the camera flash. You also want to turn off your flash. So, and then for the droids, every droid is different, which is why it's a little more difficult. So Google is your friend. Just Google, how do I turn off a Samsung A70? How do I turn off HDR, and find out. So those are two things. The other thing I want to remind people is, Your lens is not in the middle of your phone. So you need to keep that in mind. Okay. So when you're taking a picture and you want to set, you tend to naturally center your phone, but instead you want to adjust it and center your lens. Particularly on pieces with curves, it will really mess you up. Your photo will have, you'll have a really wonky perspective. If you have something that's serpentine or something that's curved, or like a demi-moon table, something like that. You really want, you really want to make sure that that lens is sitting in the center. If you have a piece that's longer than it is wide, you're going to turn to horizontal. Now look how far over the lens is. So you're going to want to adjust that so that it's in the center of the photo. The other thing super important is you don't want to be angling your phone this way, angling your phone this way. You want to hold your phone nice and straight and vertically true so that you don't get weird and wonky angles in your photograph. You can fix them in editing, but the less editing you have to do, obviously, the better. So, so that's something where you want to be sure that you're keeping a good eye on where your camera lens position is. Okay. If you, let's see if I can share this. If you want to, so if you want to add some things to your repertoire as far as, let me see if I can, I don't know if it's going to sync my photos. Okay, so if you want to really help yourself as far as editing and as far as photography, editing, I cannot recommend enough just a very simple editing stylus, like the, oh shoot, for some reason. So this is the Miko 3-in-1 stylus pen, and I can get Heidi the links to all of this stuff, but you can get 2 for like $10. They will make all the world of difference. When you're trying to edit and you're trying to use your finger and you've got fat fingers and it doesn't work, you can really do some great editing. So a stylus is probably the thing that I would tell you to pick up. For very little money, $10, you can get 2, and you'll see the difference in your photos immediately as far as editing. So that's one. And then the other thing is a softbox light kit. These are very inexpensive on Amazon. The one that I really like is it's an LED with a coupon. After the coupon, it's $75. So that's something where if you don't have good natural light, that's something that will really help you out. I think, let's see. And then what you're going to want to do is a lot of people say, well, I don't know if I really have a place to stage. If you have, if you have a blank wall in your house, or I used to have a wall in my dining room, and I'd have to drag my table across the room on the rug, and I'd have to move a sideboard into the kitchen, but I had a nice neutral wall. So a nice neutral wall is your friend if you've got one inside. If you've got one in a room with excellent natural light, like Heidi, you can see in her house, she's got beautiful lighting. So she might not even need a light kit on certain days. But just keep in mind that when the days grow short in the wintertime, or a lot of my members are in the UK. So, their winters are very long just because of where they are, or it's very rainy wherever they're located. The light box, the soft light box kit will really carry the day. You can, I have girls that they take their pictures at midnight, so you're not at the mercy of the sun or the weather. And sometimes you have too much sun, not enough sun. So, or you're blessed with beautiful natural light. So, but that's something where if you're not, it will really help you out. A lot of people will just paint a wall in their garage and then throw down a sheet of wooden paneling to kind of be a faux wood floor. That's something that's super easy to do. In the beginning, when I first started, my friends and I we would take 2 sheets of white beadboard, lean them up against the garage outside because we didn't have light kits. And this is a long time ago. And we'd throw down that piece of wooden paneling, and ta-da, we had our, we had our backdrop. So that was kind of a fun, I'll see if I can find that. But that was kind of a fun thing that you can do that's super, super easy. I also have people that, I think I've got one from a girl that she just used, she hung up, like she clipped up a white sheet and she put down a piece of paneling on the floor and she used that. You can put in an artificial background. The thing that I want to say the most about the artificial backgrounds is they're a tool, but not a crutch. You need to have a good photo to start off with. If you can't take a good photo, then a measurable photo against a nice backdrop is really not going to give you what you're looking for. So so you really want to try as best as you can to take really good photos. Let's see. Okay, so here is, where's my, okay. So I think, all right, let's see if we can, okay, so that's my initial, there you are with a piece of paneling and 2 sheets of beadboard leaned up against the garage, and we're outside on a nice afternoon day in the middle of January in parkas, and then that's the end result. Once it's cropped, once the perspective is corrected, once it's all brightened up. So so you really can, and those sheets of beadboard are, I don't know, $20. So maybe that's $60 for a little staging area. And we also did, we would also set it up inside the garage when it was raining and just open the garage door. So so you can do a lot if you're creative. And again, you can, for staging items, you don't need a whole lot of fancy stuff. You can just shop your home. A lot of times you've got things hanging around that would make really good staging items. A big tip that I have for you, a pro tip, is get on Instagram and look at, if you look at the Thrive Furniture Staging Instagram feed, you can look through and find artists that you really like, and you can follow their pages and you can look at what they're using for staging, and you can kind of sort of get a list going and be thinking about, hey, oh, when I'd like to pick this up, or gosh, look at the way that they use that, or, hey, this is similar to a vibe that I want to show. So you can, so you can really see so much creativity. It's amazing what some people are doing. Let me see if I can share some more. But you can be as involved in getting fancy, or you can keep things relatively simple. Here's somebody that I'll show you a few different looks. All right. So so each artist and each furniture flipper, they're going to have different aesthetics, and everybody, you kind of have to stage according to your personality. If you're not fancy, well, you don't have to get fancy. You can keep things very simple. Here, this is a nice staging. She's keeping it clean. She's keeping it modern. She's echoing the hardware choice. So she's bringing the gold up to the top. So all of that makes the piece really pop. And that's a really simple staging. Here's one where this girl does more, she does more old world finishes. She stages in a much more kind of romantic fashion. So that's one of hers. Here's another girl that does tons of MCM. MCM is a hot, hot seller. If you find mid-century modern furniture, gosh, grab it, because it will go quickly and it will go for a lot of money, especially West Coast. Here's one of the girls from the UK. These pieces are super popular, a mix of wood and paint. You can see that, you know, her staging is super simple. She's got a gold container with some florals in it. But what we've done is we've edited to make a beautiful reflection in the mirror, and the reflection is just going to carry the day here for us. Here's another one. Again, she's a very romantic, and she's got a very, she went kind of crazy with her background, and she does lots of colors in that family. So her staging wall is very dramatic in comparison to, you know, just a white wall. But you can see that the white wall, it's just neutral, and all the pieces pop, and things come forward. So, you know, there are people that really want to get their artist on and do very involved things, but then there are, you know, beautiful examples where, you know, this clean and modern, it looks beautiful on a white background. So lots of different ways that you can go. And again, you can keep the staging really simple. Probably one of the girls that is a member of my group and has been since the very beginning. She's a very proficient stager. She keeps things very simple. She is like the top seller of all time. She paints her pieces gray, white, navy blue, and then when she picks up an MCM piece, she'll stain it. But she keeps things very, very simple. Her color palette is super, super limited, and she sells all day long. And she charges a good price, and that's just her price point is kind of, you know, she's kind of a Macy's girl. You know, she gets it. And she's very, very steady seller. So you don't have to go crazy with your painting. You can if you want to. And there are a lot of girls where, hey, they'll paint pieces and they'll only do them, you know, they'll paint 2 pieces a month, and they go crazy with beautiful finishes and metallics and transfers and all this stuff because they've been doing it for a long time, and they make a lot of money. But that's kind of rare air, you know, there are not that many people out there doing that. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with just painting in a consistent, nice, clean fashion, doing great work, and not, you know, and not getting overly, you know, into the artist part. You can be a furniture artist. You can also be a furniture painter, and the furniture painters make good money. So, I want to definitely leave you with that. That is something where you don't have to go crazy with it. So let's see. Look at questions. Okay. So let's see. So as far as how many photos should you take? Think about it from the standpoint of if you were a consumer, right? You would like to see a main photo, like the examples that I showed you, a straight on photo so you can see. Don't cut off the pieces and the parts of whatever piece of furniture it is, right? If you want to show an entire dresser, nobody wants to see half the dresser and guess what's on the other side. So show the complete piece of furniture always. Then if you want, you can take detail shots. You can take, you know, pull the drawers out in a waterfall style. If you want to show the drawers, they're dovetailed, or you want to show a particular finish, you can get close in. You know, so it's nice to show a variation of different, you know, what does it look like from the side? What does it look like on an angle? You can show those, but those are accessory shots. They're not going to be your main shot. So put all of your effort into your main shot. but it's like if you were looking for a piece of furniture, well, you'd like to see it kind of if you stepped off on an angle. You'd like to see it if, what do the drawers look like? What are their features? So you can show those in your detail shots. And usually, if you do get to where you're selling on Etsy, Etsy likes you to fill up 10 slots. Okay. You can repeat it. You can repeat the same photo within the 10 shots. You can also crop a shot and show a detail that you want to show, or take a picture of the hardware in a close-up. You can do that. So Etsy's kind of a whole nother animal. So you want to make sure that you get some good information before you start listing on Etsy, just because there are a lot of places where you can get tripped up as a seller just based on the things that Etsy does. So maybe that's another something that, as it goes on, maybe Heidi does, you do a tutorial on that or something, because there's a lot to that. So once you've got your shots, what you want to do, so we're going to kind of dig into editing a little bit. So I like to use a program called Snapseed. It comes free with an iPhone, and I'm pretty sure you can get it for Android. But it is a really, really good editing app, and it's free. The very first thing that you want to do whenever you get an editing app, and beware if you're getting it for free or you're not buying the paid version, a lot of times they won't allow you to save in 100% in maximum quality or 100% JPEG. Snapseed does. But the only thing is, you have to go into Snapseed, you have to go into settings, and you have to change the settings so that it saves in 100% JPEG. Otherwise, you're giving away a little slice of the quality every time you use the editing tool. So Snapseed, the very first thing that you would do once you open a photo in Snapseed in that program is there's up at the top of the screen on the right-hand side, there's a circle with the lowercase letter I. You're gonna wanna hit that, and you're gonna wanna see how many megapixels are in your photo to start off with. So with an iPhone, you're gonna generally have a 12.2 megapixel photo before you do anything to it, right? If you crop your photo, and I do everything in Snapseed, I don't wanna edit a bad photo, because you will just get a worse photo. You want to check your photo for quality, because if it's not the highest quality, then you need to go back to the drawing board and find a photo that you took that is the highest quality, or retake your photo. A lot of times it's because you didn't have live was still on, you didn't have that turned off, you didn't have HDR turned off. So go in there and you check your photo. Okay, then you're going to see where you're at, and you're going to, gosh, I think I just did an edit for somebody, and I'll see if I can find the initial photo. And the initial photo was from far, far away. I'm having trouble finding somehow I don't know that my photo stream updated. But so in general, okay, this will probably do. All right, so this is the photo, and she's so far away. She's practically in the next room. So that's what we started with. Okay, and so that's going to be a 12.2 that we started with. Okay, once you crop it down, and this is our final photo, and you can see the details much better. Okay, so when you crop it down, which will happen if you go ahead and crop before you check your photo quality, you've literally chopped off megapixels. So it won't give you what the true quality is of the photo. It would be like if you baked an amazing pie and you gave half of it to your neighbor. It's still an amazing pie. The quality is still good, but you gave half of it away, right? So that's why I always check before I crop to make sure I've got the quality that I need to go in. So that's going to be one of the first things that I do is crop it down a little bit. What you want for all social media postings, Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, everybody pretty much loves square-ish photos, as close to a square as possible. Now, that doesn't mean hit the square button and take square photos. That's not what we want you to do. We want you to take a great photo. Your photo proportions should be set to 4:3 or 3:4, depending on your phone. Okay, so which is close-ish to a square. Some people, if you see a really tall, long, skinny photo, that's going to be like 9:16. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so you want 3:4 or 4:3, depending on what type of phone you're using. That's what you're going to set your camera proportions to, and then you're going to come close to a square. And then when you need to crop, you'll be able to. The Snapseed editing program, once you get familiar with it, you can add space on the top. You can add a little space on the sides. You can do a lot with it. So you're going to want to think about ending up with a squarish photo. And then the thing that Snapseed is great about is once you get into tools, they have lots of different tools, and you can fix the perspective. If you've done something where you always want to look and you want to see if you have nice straight sides to whatever it is. I believe I've got a couple. So if you, oh, here's a lovely one. Okay. And so in this, all right, in this photo of this wardrobe, and she just hung up a sheet. She's in her garage, and I think she rolled out like maybe some wood look vinyl flooring to get it. But she does have a light kit. And if you can look at those doors, they look like they're about to fly away. They go out as they go up. They're not nice and straight. So if you look at the edited photo, the doors are nice and straight and true. So we fixed the perspective. And so the Snapseed app allows you to do that. Ideally, you want to have a very nice, this is a gorgeous sideboard that was done today in the group. You want to, everything is beautifully done here. The sides are nice and straight and true. The top is level. Your eye goes straight across the top. We can't see really any of the top. If you can see the top, then you'll see wings, and I call them wings on the sides, and it's very confusing to your eye. So you want to be nice and level for your shot. And you notice that we don't lose the bottoms of the staging items that are up top at all whatsoever. And she's picked them, and we have different shapes and different sizes, but they all kind of speak to the piece, and they all give a similar vibe. And then on the little rotating piece in the cabinet, she has, we've done a reflection behind it, just to show, okay, this is what it would look like in your home, and just to give it a little bit of depth. And you can use it, and you can use Snapseed to do that. It's really not difficult. Again, you always have to have a stylus, and the larger the screen on your phone, or if you have an iPad, it makes it a lot easier. So, do I need to cover anything?
I again don't see any. Sorry, and I realized when I was talking before I hadn't gone off mute, so I don't see any questions. Do you want to address, are there other questions on the list that we had gotten ahead of time that you don't feel that
I'm
you've covered
looking,
yet?
um, I'm looking, and I think I've got it. I think it's almost all. Um,
Maybe you
it's
could talk about mirrors a little bit too, and how we have we have somebody that does that or what have you.
yeah.
Because that was like my
So
biggest thing.
yes, and so and adding a reflection to a mirror. Let's see. I'll give you some examples if I can get. It's hard to get the little bar. I'm trying to find the share bar here. It's not. It's not letting me share.
Hmm.
Okay, here it is. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. Um, so reflections. All right, here's a good, let's see. Find it again. So reflections, you can add them in Snapseed using the double exposure tool. You can always, if you're not sure, you can Google or you can check YouTube as far as like how to do it. You really do need a stylus. It makes it so much easier. But a reflection can really help you with the vibe of the piece and just making it and making it, you know, really come to life. Trying to give you some good examples. Was it before, after? Okay. All right. And the trick really to reflections is you want to keep in mind, you know, you want to keep in mind your background. Does it look like it could be in the same room? You want to keep in mind the vibe of the furniture. You want to keep in mind the scale. So here's a really light, airy pine piece. Even the mirror is, I added the mirror completely. It wasn't there to begin with. And so, so you want to kind of make sure it vibes properly. You know, that this is kind of a vanity and a lounge. Here's a before picture. You can see my sweet little friend Lauren's head in the picture, and after an edit, that's the piece. So we used a room with a similar wall coloring, a similar vibe, to kind of show, not to take over, but to show off the furniture. Here's another piece that she was doing. It's the same client. It was a custom order, so we use the same reflection. Here's one where, you know, she did a very fancy buffet, and so we did kind of a fancy dining room for the background. Here's a fun one, a little girl's vanity. So we did a room that had some pinks and purples in it. Again, you want to get the scale right, just so that the reflections are really beautiful and are complementary and not and don't just run the piece over. Let's see. Here's another. This is a good. That's a good before and after. But they can really, a reflection can really add a whole lot of depth, a whole lot of interest, and a lot of, believe it or not, anything with a mirror, you know, the reflections usually help sell the piece. It's uncanny. It just, people just say, "Ooh, I love that. I need to have it." And so it really helps them to envision, it helps them to envision the piece in a home. So here are some examples. So this is a before edits, and then that's an after. So you can see that the bedroom has similar colors to the piece, has a similar, it has a similar vibe. Here's another piece where This is an actual real mirror she had. So we just did a nice bedroom reflection that was nice and neutral because the piece pops. It's an emerald color, so we let that shine. There's that MCM piece again with an MCM living room, so somebody can say, to themselves, "Gosh, that's that would look great. I can visualize how that piece is going to look in a space." So, and it's not particularly hard to do. It just takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of practice. But there are lots of things where, if you have a stylus, you can get in there in Snapseed with the exposure brush tool, and you can whiten your wall. There's another tool called the Tune Image tool. You can brighten. You can bump up the saturation if you have a very vibrant piece and it's not being shown in your photo. Just letting you know, blues are particularly hard to photograph and get a true color. Sometimes when you do a close-up of a blue, you can get a better idea of the shot of the color, the actual color, but when you back up, the camera just gets confused, and blues are just really, really hard. So if you're frustrated photographing something blue, you will not be alone. That's just the nature of it. But so, and then, for the Tune Image tool, when you tap, it'll do a drop down menu. You can choose highlights, and when you increase the highlight, anything that's white, particularly the wall, it will brighten and whiten it up. So that is something that you can use in conjunction with the exposure brush tool. And you just have to kind of keep going multiple times. There's times where you're going to have to use that exposure brush at plus 0.7 a couple of times. It also has some really fun features. If you also in the brush tool, if you move over and you select temperature, if you do it in the plus numbers like +5 or +10, if you have a clear glass, which glass carries no visual weight, so it's not really ideal for staging. It will look beautiful to you while you're staring at it in person. But in a photograph, it looks like it's a ghost. So a lot of times if you have something like barware and you have, martini glasses, well, you can take the temperature brush and in the plus numbers and turn the glass gold, which if you have gold hardware, that'll look beautiful. If you choose the saturation brush and you go into the negative numbers, you can take something that's gold and remove the color, and it turns it to silver. And then you can also kind of change it up and go in and out with the exposure brush to darken it or lighten it. So those are super valuable tools where if you just have one staging item that's gold, you now have two staging items because one's silver, one's gold. So you can kind of double what you have if you have something metallic. You can also, if you go thrifting, if you like the form of something, you can spray paint it gold. If you have something and it's white ceramics, actually with greenery, look amazing on wood pieces, on natural wood pieces, because think of, trees, right? Wood and leaves, and trees are Mother Nature's creation, and they're beautiful. So, white pots of greenery. If you don't have greenery like florals, go out in your yard, snip a few pieces of a bush, or a few pieces of a little tiny twigs of trees. You don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on that. Florals, though, it's good to have a few pieces just because you can pop the heads off if you just need a bloom for something. In general, this is something I really want to talk about. So in general, as far as staging items, right? The rule of threes prevails. It's lovely to have a trio of something. If you notice when you read, your eye scans left to right. So if you don't have enough stuff to put on a big piece to build a big grouping in the middle, you don't have a big piece of art, you don't have a big mirror, then in general, you're going to build your grouping on the left side. When you see something that's up top on the left, a lot of times, and there was a good one today. Let's see if I can find it. a lot of times we'll do something. Oh, here's one. So this piece, right? She did a grouping of 3 up top. She used her bloom, and then she did something down below on the right. And so what that does is you have a left, you have some visual weight up top on the left, and then you have an offset on the right. And so it leads your eye from the top, and it scans right to the bottom, picks up that flower, and then it lands in the middle of the piece. So what you're doing with staging is you're leading the eye. Same thing as you would do when you're staging a room. You're leading with color, with accents. You're leading the eye back to center, back to what you want it to focus on. So so it's all about balance, and so that's something where you know, if you do have, especially MCM stuff, I might have a picture of. It looks fantastic with you know, like I have a girl that has a rattan plant stand, and she's got a really cool pot of greenery, and it goes in it, and we use that. We use that all the time. And she does so much MCM stuff, and she just has her stuff. All her staging props are things that she just lives with in her house. So that's just her style. And so that's become a really, you know, it's a really fun, organic way to stage. And you know, hey, when she buys something new for her house, it's really a business write-off. And let's see, okay, then I have a couple more examples. But it ends up to be, you know, it ends up to be something that she, you know, really enjoys having, and it looks fantastic, and it's part of her brand. I'm just looking for some more good examples. Okay. All right. So this is the piece I was looking at earlier. She's really standing too far away. But when you edit it down and you do all the adjustments, there it is. So and you can see the piece really well. You can see what it's featured. She didn't go crazy with her staging. She kept it clean and simple, same as the piece. So it works. It looks really good. Here's some barware. This is an example of glasses that started out clear and we turned them gold. If they were clear, you wouldn't be able to see them. So she's just pulled together items that, you know, that work for the piece. This is a guy that does like incredible, he does a lot of like heavy staging, and he kind of always will tell a story. He's another one where a great person to follow on Instagram. In this piece, I like this just to show you, hey, here's a pot of greenery that she has. She has a bloom. There's a Fiesta Ware picture that she's had around her house, and she's got a deer. So you don't have to have like a ton of, you don't have to have a ton of fancy things. Here's another girl who she does great work, and she is always extra, and she does like heavy staging. So she's always going to have you, she's got a skull, she's got a cow rug, she's got a stool with, you know, made with ropes twisted around it. She's got a mirror in the back. She's got a wall hanging. So you can be as fancy or as non-fancy as you like. You can let your personality show through. And you know, and that's okay. You just always want to keep it cohesive so that the design of the piece it speaks to the way that you've got it staged, so that, you know, it's not like you're wearing, you know, I don't know, combat boots and pearls. Not that that would be a bad thing, but you know, they don't actually, you know, you could probably rock that with the right look, but in general, you want to keep it so, so it's straightforward and it's easy for a client to understand, like a potential customer, you know, that they've got it in, you know, that they've got a good idea of how it would look in their house. So neutral usually carries the day on that one. It's always, keep in mind, the more artistic you get, typically the longer, until you build a following and you have a bunch of followers who love just that type of art, it's going to take longer to sell. So if you want quicker turnover, keeping it simple is a good idea. You know, change up the hardware and paint it a beautiful color and do a good job with it and do a nice, clean, simple staging, and you know, it's out the door. I had one of the one of my people today. I think we did. So this was her initial photo, and so that was her initial photo. And then and so again, just in her garage, she put up 2 sheets of whiteboard and threw down a piece of paneling, and that's in her garage with a light kit, and that's how it edited out. And that sucker sold in a day. And she messaged me today and she said, you know, gosh, thank you so much for your help. I sold that piece today. I made great profit, and it was so easy. I appreciate your help. And so she didn't go crazy with this. She's got a sign. She's got a cute white ceramic pot. She's tucked some blooms into. She's got like a little doodad spiky ball on the right side, and then a couple of books and a wicker basket. So those aren't things that are expensive or you know, hard to find. So she kept it very simple. She got a quick sale and she made good money. So you don't necessarily, you know, don't get stuck overthinking the staging thing. You can do it. You can do it pretty simply. So anything.
Okay. Are there any questions specifically? You can either pop on or put something in the chat. Or if you are watching this on a recording, you can message, well, you know what? You can email us at the Repair Bank. You can get a hold of me. I will put my email in the chat. It's revivebyheidi@gmail.com. And actually, Judy, if you want to tell us how people can get a hold of you and be part of your group, and maybe explain just really quickly, like what the process is for, like, when you join this group, like how does the coaching work, and like,
Okay.
yeah.
Sure. So so you can find the group on Facebook. It's Thrive Furniture Staging and More. I do also have a business page. So and that's Thrive Furniture Staging. So one is a group and one is a business page. The business page, you'll see the business page is great as far as getting ideas for staging, you know, lots of different furniture. I haven't updated it in a bit because I've been moving and all that, but there's years of beautiful furniture postings and stagings. And then also Thrive Furniture Staging is on Instagram as well. And so you can check out the Instagram feed and you can find some favorite artists. But that's my huge tip for you, is there are people that are crazy good at this stuff and they're very inspirational, and it's fun to kind of follow them and see what they're doing. And gosh, you know, I have several people that they're absolute storytellers, and they present their furniture, and you can tell, you know, you can feel like, oh, I need to be in a bar in Havana, you know, smoking a cigar and having a drink on the rocks and wearing a Panama hat. You know, there's some amazing stuff that just takes you to different places. So it's really cool to see. But if you to join Thrive Furniture Staging, you just hit the join button, and it works as a subscription, and it's PayPal, and it works through PayPal, and you can set up your PayPal however you like. It's $19.95 a month. I may do a special promotion for this group. And knock off a couple bucks. But you'll find that, and then it's something where, you know, whenever you want to cancel, you just cancel. You're in control of that. But so it's something where you will learn a lot in a very short period of time, just by being there and being exposed to seeing before and afters and seeing what the suggestions are. So the way that the group works, you would post to the group and say, you know, this is what I'd like help with. This is what I'm working on. So then I leave a suggestion for you in the comments of, this is looking great, but let's go ahead and change this. Let's swap this place for here. And then you can message me. And then we work one-on-one over Messenger. And if you have any questions, and then you're going to make the changes that are suggested. And then, and then we'll get to where we, we collaborate together, and we've got a piece that's done well that you really like. And then initially, I usually will help you by editing your main shot, probably for at least the first half dozen. And then we'll start to practice together, where I'm going to have you edit, I'm going to edit, and you can kind of compare, and you can see how close you came to what you're shooting for. Because learning by doing is really the best way, the best way to learn anything. So, but in the beginning, because there's so much stuff, I will help you. And, and I will always help you as far as, if you needed a lot of editing. I have one girl where she just does beautiful vanities, and she makes tons of money. Every single one of them, she's over in the UK, sells for £895 a piece. And that's her standard, fee for them. And she doesn't want anything to do with editing. She hates it. She takes the pictures, she emails them to me. I email them back to her all edited. And I just, and I just send her the bill, and she's like, fine, I don't care. So, so everyone has different tolerances for what they're, what they're willing to do. And, my job is to not just to give you the fish, but to teach you how to be a good fisherman, teach you how to do all the things that you want to learn. And if you don't want to learn stuff, then okay, fine, that's fine too. In general, it's not super expensive to get a reflection done. I'm going to say, a full edit and a reflection is usually, I charge around $7 to do it. So it's really not like a whole lot of money. If it's triple mirror, you got to pay a couple bucks more, but other than that, it's not that expensive, but you can definitely learn how to do it yourself if you have the desire. It's just a matter of learning how to get the scale and the vibe and the positioning correct, so that you have a nice end result. And you'll see that in the feed of Instagram, and you'll see it on the business page and all that. There's lots of examples. And then if you join the group, you'll see it in the group. And I have another group that when you join Thrive, you are automatically in a new member orientation group, which has lots of videos on how to edit, and just tips and tricks and all different things on, hey, these are the basics for what you can use for, to pick up for staging items. And this is, and I mean, we do stupid stuff like, take a golf ball and spray paint it gold, because we need just one small little gold something, like ridiculous, like it's a golf ball. But a lot of times it's stuff that you have hanging around your house. I have one girl that does lots and lots of like very primitive country pieces. We have staged with apples from she lives on a farm, apples from her orchard, eggs from her chickens, just lots of different, cooking utensils, and just, you can really, really use your imagination and have fun with it depending on what the pieces are. And you can see, again, on the Thrive Instagram page, you can see lots of really great examples of creativity, and that will kind of hopefully get the wheels turning, and you can say, oh, I have that, or I have something similar. And that's the thing, is you want to use different heights. If you have everything the same across the board, it's like a song with a note that never changes. It's just a hum, because it's boring. So, and so you always want to play with height, and you want to play with textures, and you want to play with color, but you want to kind of keep the color story so that it vibes with the piece that you're working on, in general. So anything else I missed?
That I know you you knocked it out of the park. So much good information. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot. It's a lot.
it is a lot.
You can always, if you have any questions, you can message, you can message the business page, or you can message me directly, on Facebook or on the Thrive Furniture Staging. You can just message me, and I'm happy to help or send you in the right direction or give you and Heidi, I'll send you the links to the softbox lights and the
Okay, perfect.
stylists and stuff, and
And
then
we'll
that way, yeah.
And then we'll send that in a follow-up email. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
great. So
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
You're
Very, very
welcome. That was
much,
fun.
everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll be in touch via email soon. So, all right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Bye. Okay, how do I end this?
Good meeting.